hate it when you stop.
All right, National Rights Life Committee, you won the endorsement. That's the word on the street. True.
What you do? You rephrase the question and put the word at the end, and that changes it? I would not ever make any statement about anybody endorsing me until they've endorsed me. Endorsements are for the people who make the endorsements. So I can't respond to word on the street. I hope that's the case, but I'm going to wait and see whether or not that is the case before making a comment. Yes.
Do you have a goal? Why? Senator, your support has been falling.
I'm going to divide it up here a little bit.
Do you have a goal of how well you want to do in the Iowa caucus? How well you want to go to second place, third place, any kind of goal?
I was thinking more in terms of first place.
Yeah.
No, I can't put a number on it or a position. I'm going to try to win it. I know that things can change in a short period of time, and Iowa has in the past. You know, you can ask President Howard Dean or President Phil Graham or any of the rest of them, you know, how quick things can change, no matter how much money you got, and no matter where you are in the polls. So all you can do is what we're doing right now, getting out and meeting with as many people as we can, and hope for the best. And if you can do that, if you can get out and talk to people, they understand you, they understand the choices they've got, and they make their decision. You know, so between them and the good Lord, I can live with that. But I'm not going to concede first place to anyone.
You think people are just making up their minds right now out here?
I think a lot of people are. You know, I always think back to Tennessee in '94 when I first ran for the political office. As we said in there, I started 20 points down against a popular incumbent. He had a lot more name recognition than I did. And all these other fellows still have a lot more name recognition than I do. He had more money, and he was ahead in the polls. And the poll numbers started turning about October for me in that race. And they turned real fast when they started turning. We went from 20 points down to 20 points ahead. So I know it's a different race, but it's still one state, and I know it's a caucus, but it's still one state, and I've seen things happen like this in Iowa before, so I'm very optimistic about it. I mean, I just feel good about it.
Senator, do you enjoy this?
Right up until now, I enjoy it. No, I enjoy it. I don't enjoy being away from my family at night. And I try not to stay on the road too many nights. I have a couple of kids that last night she said, "Papa, I hope you can come home again." And I said, "Well, I sure do too." And when you hear things like that, you know, it's kind of rough. But the rest of it I do enjoy. Goodness, I mean, this reminds me of, you know, prior campaigns. I've been involved in a lot of presidential campaigns. I've been involved in 2 statewide campaigns, and the closer I get to the people, the better it gets for me and the more I enjoy it. Any man that tells you that every second of a presidential campaign that they just love to death is lying to you. And being away from home is a part of it. But what we're doing here today and what we're doing here now, that is an enjoyable part. The idea that you can get out and talk about the things that are most important to you and what you think are most important to your country and get a fair hearing on it, how many people have an opportunity to do that? So I consider myself privileged and blessed for that reason. So any little aggravations are more than made up for.
Senator, why do you think you've not been here enough?
Well, you know, I've been here about 17 times when I was running second, and nobody asked me, "Why do you think you're doing so well when you haven't been here?" So that's I don't think poll numbers are low. I think that we're doing fine, and we just went up on television and a few things like that. And I haven't been here as often as some, but again, I mean, someone needs to ask sometime somewhere along the line. But how could someone who didn't start the race when all the experts said they should, didn't start with the money that all the experts said that they had to have, has run as high in the polls as I have consistently. I think that's the real question.
Senator,
Two more questions.
What would an endorsement from a pro-life national organization say to your rivals about you?
I don't want to get into that. I mean, that's a hypothetical based on something that hasn't happened yet, as far as I know. So we'll say it speaks for itself. I mean, these are people who have supported me in times past. I think it would be a perfectly natural thing to happen. I've had a 100% pro-life voting record in the United States Senate, and I think they know that, and that's the way I would govern if I was president. So it'd be a perfectly natural thing and very helpful to me, I think.
But
Last question.
Senator, you took some grief for saying you wouldn't support a human life amendment to the Constitution.
You know, that's been kicking around now since 1994. What I have concentrated on is a way to get to the same goal that's achievable. We could not get to first base on an amendment when we control both houses and the presidency. Now the question is, what do you do about that? Well, I think the answer is to get better judges and to appoint people to the Supreme Court. And hopefully someday Roe versus Wade will be overturned. That's my goal. That's my priority, and it has been ever since my first day in politics. For those who prefer, you know, to talk about other hypotheticals and wish lists and so forth, that's their right, you know, and I understand that. But this is mine.
Can I follow up? Would you support a state whose citizens, the legislature chose to permit abortion? You think that's a state's right to do that?
Are you familiar with the situation pre-Roe versus Wade? All right. Then you know that before Roe versus Wade, states had some rights in that regard. And as I like to say, sometimes states have a right to do the things that even Fred Thompson disagreed with. You have to understand that we're talking about pre-Roe versus Wade. Roe versus Wade started this entire controversy. Even Democratic judges have pointed out that it was a kind of made-up law, and bad medicine. And the major effort is to get back to pre-thing. A lot of people have gotten what pre-Roe versus Wade was and what it was all about. Now, on a state level, as a citizen of the state of Tennessee, for example, I've always supported parental notification. I've always been against, transporting girls across state lines to avoid parental notification. Reasonable restrictions on anything with regard to the entire issue that the state wanted to put on people. But ultimately, if you get down to the point, you have to ask the question, what are you going to do? Are you going to pass a criminal law that says that young girls, and maybe their parents as aiders and abettors, are going to jail? That's kind of what it boils down to. It's one to say I'm for or I'm against. But as a lawyer in the legislature, you have to ask that hypothetical. Now understand, we're talking about a hypothetical based upon a hypothetical. Nothing real. Nothing real. Everything that could have come before a United States Senate in 8 years came before a United States Senate. I was pro-life on every vote. These are hypotheticals based on hypotheticals that we'll engage in ad nauseum if people really need to. But I assure you, what I'm saying today is what I said in 1994, 1996, when I won re-election by 20 points. I got the National Right to Life endorsement, or support. Anyway, back then, they said I would fulfill their commitment, the commitment that I made in terms of pro-life issues. So I can, as I say, I can totally understand why they would endorse me now, and I hope they do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.